Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm happy to announce the fourth day of our training. So this is the Power BI Made Easy event. It's running for 10 days. We are now on the fourth day. We'll be looking at add columns and advanced editor. And this is put together by the MCTNAIJA Power BI user group. And the speaker for today is a genius. I call him King of ETL. So, and his name is Abayomi Adeleke. He's going to introduce himself, and I promise you, you have an exciting time with him. Abayomi, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So you are powerfully welcome. So today is an exciting topic. So I'm handing the floor over to you. Please take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DG. It's a pleasure being here this afternoon. My name is Ayobami Adeleke, like you rightly introduced. So today I'll be taking us on advanced column and adding columns, advanced query editor and adding columns for query. I'm an enterprise data warehouse developer. I design and model ETL frameworks and processes. I also do BI development. I'm a BI developer with vast experience in the Microsoft BI stack. I use tools like SQL Server Integration Services tools, the SQL Server Analysis Services, and the SQL Server Reporting Services. Okay, so let's jump into business. Today, I'll be talking about Power Query. Power Query is a BI tool that actually originated from Excel and has been transformed over years and now is a powerful tool available in Power BI for us. So what is Power Query itself? It's a BI tool that allows you to transform your data, to import data from multiple sources, transform them and clean them, shape them and make them ready and prepare for data analysis. How do I get Power Query? You can actually access Power Query on your Excel application and your Power BI applications. But for the Excel, if you are using Excel 2010 or 2013, you have to download the add-in. It doesn't come with them. But for 2016 users and above, it's inbuilt. You don't have to download anything. It's just for you to go into your data tab and click on get data or get and transform. Okay, so let's proceed. Yeah, so Power Query, like I said earlier, just about you gathering data from different sources. Like we can see on the chart here, you can bring in Excel data, flat files, CSVs, data from our relational databases. You can also bring in data from the web, from Facebook, from Wiki, from anywhere, just name it. Power BI will connect to it using Power Query, and it will allow you to do several transformations. I think Power Query can actually do over about 360 transformations to your data. And this list keeps increasing by the day. Microsoft keep on working on it to make it better. So all the processes Power Query does or that you do with Power Query to your data is being recorded in the query editor, in the advanced query editor, and is stored with the language M. M is a very powerful and fundamental language in Power Query. Your scripts are being generated in M language. You don't have to learn M or how to code in M. The Power Query itself generates the code for you. So you just consume the queries and the scripts. So today we'll be looking at Add Column. Add Column is one of the tabs when you launch Power Query Editor. It's the third tab. And there we have a number of transformations we can do, general transformations we can do, transformations we can do from text, transformations you can do from number columns, and transformations you can do with date and time. Also, some you can do with machine learning on Azure and some kind of text analysis. Like I said, the advanced editor is where you have the M scripts being auto-generated for you. So this is just a snapshot of what it looks like. So let's get started. So I'll be launching my Power BI. Open a new sheet. It's coming up. So in the meantime, the data sets I'll be working with today, there are about 3 of them. One is a flat file, that's an Excel document. What is this? Yeah. So basically the operation we'll be carrying out here, I'll try to merge these 3 sheets, the sales transactions for 2017, for 2016, and 2015. I'm going to append them using the append query function of Power Query. I'll append the 3 tables into one. Then we load it into Power BI for our analysis. Where we have product information, we have the location, those are the store information, and the customers, and also the salespeople. So all these tabs will be loaded into Power BI using Power Query. Let's see, is it up? Okay, so my Power BI is loaded. So like we all know, the first thing to always do is get data. So I'm connecting to Excel first. Yeah, so I'm picking my data from here. Yeah, so we are here. So these are the various tables and sheets we have in the document. You need to identify tables different. You need to be able to differentiate a table from a sheet at this level. So it's very easy to identify. When you look at the icon beside each of them, this is sales 2015. If you look at the icon left, it shows as a table. But so it's always advisable to always load in the table data, not the sheets, because if you are loading the font might change. But when you pick the table itself, you are sure that even if the table, you are still bringing the new data in the table into your Power Query. So let me just pick randomly. I'll bring in the sales. That's very important for me. Then the salesperson information, the product, the location, and the customer. That's fine. So like we all know, at this level, once you want to load in, always do transform data. Never load in directly, because you have to look at the structure of your data. You have to do 1 or 2 transformations. Data is never always clean or in the way you need it. So we click on transform data. This launches our Power Query editor. Okay, so we are here. So the first thing I'm going to do now, like I said, I want to merge 2015, 2016, and 2017 sales into one table. So there are a number of ways to go about it. I can decide to first create a copy of one of them, then append the other years into that copy. I can as well say, okay, I just want to append the other years into the existing, the 1 out of the 3. So let's see. To create a copy of a query, you right click on the query and you do duplicate, gives you a copy. Another option you can use to create a copy of a query is you select the query, then you come to manage here and do duplicate. So you also create a copy of the query for you. So whichever one you would like to use is fine. There are many ways to achieve the same thing in Power Query. There are shortcuts and there are menu buttons to navigate around. But it's always good to be familiar with the menu buttons anyway. Okay, so I don't need this duplicate. Let me take it out. I right click on it and delete. Yes, delete. So this duplicate is what I'll be merging in 2016 and 2017 data into. So how do I do that? I select this query. Then I look at my home ribbon at the top. I have 2 options, merge queries and append queries. Merge query is just for you to merge, bring in more rows from another table. So it does it more like horizontal, is an horizontal expansion of a table. But now I want to append rows to the bottom. So I have 2015 at the top, 2016 below, then 2017. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm appending queries. So I'll click on this. And here we have two options. I can either append into the same query or append into a new query. But since I already created a duplicate of my initial 2015 query, I don't need to do append into new. So I'll just click the first one, which is appending into the duplicate I already have. So at this point, it's asking me how many tables do I want to append. So I'm appending 3 or more tables because I'm doing 2015, 2016, and 2017. Yeah, so here I already have 2015 data in here. I'll bring in 2016. I'll do the same for 2017. I say okay. So I have appended. On this query now, I have 2015, 2016, and 2017. So something I can quickly do is just to right click on the query and rename it. So I'll just call this sales. Then at this junction, since I have my data for 2015 to 2017 here, I don't really need these queries anymore. So what I will just do is I'll disable them from loading. So anytime I'm trying to load in data into my Power BI or refreshing, connecting back to the data source, it won't refresh these queries. So I just right click and disable load. Right click, disable the load, right click and disable. If I want to enable back, I just come back, right click and enable. So if you notice, my queries are, to me, they are not organized. I just have queries. There's no organization of queries. So what you can do at this point is create query groups. How do we do this? Let me start with the ones that are disabled. I right click on sales 2015 and say move to group. But since there's no group, I have to create a new group. So let me call this group staging queries. Say okay, you can give it a description, but let me just proceed. So now I have this query 2015 in the staging query. I'll do the same for 2016, right click and say move to group, staging queries. Then another way you can move queries is you select the query and you drag it to the new group. So it also works. So what I'm trying to achieve here now is I'm trying to put my queries into categories. So when somebody sees my Power Query editor, you can understand what I'm trying to do with my data. Here is just for me to have my stage data, or the actual data I want to use for my modeling and my reporting are the other 5 queries I have here. So I'll also do something. I'll right click on any of the tables and move it into another new query group. I'll call that data model. So I can drag my other tables, drag my location, drag my customer, drag my sales. Okay. So I think at this point, we have been able to give our queries structure, proper structure, in the terms that we know that all these ones in staging, we have disabled them. They are not being refreshed when we load in data, but just these 5 queries will be our focus. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's go to the sales data and see what it looks like. Okay, so now let me navigate to the add column. That's actually where we are interested. So we have a number of transformations we can do here. I would like to start with the custom column. So here what it does is you are basically appending or concatenating about 2 or 3 columns. So let me just call this, okay, let me just append my, okay, let me look at the data, order ID, product ID, the location. So I want to create a column that will hold my order ID and the product ID. How do I do that? I come to custom column. I can choose to give my column a name, but let me just leave it as custom for now. So available columns I work with, I want to use order ID. I also want to use product ID. Insert. So it looks good. It tells me no syntax errors have been detected. Okay, so let me create the column and see. But look at it. It gives me errors. So I'm clicking on the error. Now it's telling me we cannot apply field access to the type text. So what it's trying to say here is that I have two values, but it doesn't know how I want to join them. So let me go back to my data. I delete this step. Then I hover on this step and do edit. So since I am dealing with two text fields, those are string laterals, the best bet for me is to put an ampersand symbol in between the two fields. That would concatenate them as one. So let's do that and see. So I do okay. Okay, so we have the new column created now. So it has concatenated the two fields, order ID and product ID, into a new column. Let's now look at the dates. We have a date column here. Okay, good. So what I can do for every transformation on the menu bar and on the add column bar tab, we have functions that are peculiar to different column types. We have the ones that are for general columns, we have for text, we have for numbers, and for the date. But now I've hovered on the purchase date column. I can see that my date transformation is enabled, so I can do some interesting things here. So I can decide to spill out the year value of my purchase dates. Let me do that. So it gives me the year. So I have the year from the purchase date. Another interesting transformation I can do, now I have a field of data type, what was this, whole number. Now, if you look at this menu, it's enabled. I can now do some transformations from number. I can decide to get the standard calculations, probably add 2 years to the current year of purchase. So I have 2017. I can also decide to do some interesting things like exponential, basic approximations, things you would do with numbers generally. Okay, this one can just give me an information. Is the column odd or even? So it's doing a Boolean check. 2017 is not even, it's odd. That's why it's saying it's even, false. So those are some interesting analytics you can just run around with the various add column features we have here. Okay, so at this junction, I think I want to experiment on conditional column, but I would like to bring in my data from my SQL engine. So let me come back to home. New source, SQL server. So it's requesting for my server name. Let me go get that. Where is this guy? Yeah, connect. So basically just needs my connection string to my server name, which I've copied. I paste it here. And I say okay. So I am interested in getting data from my AdventureWorks 2014 data warehouse, and I want to bring in my customer table. Right? Yes, so here we are. So one thing, when you bring in data, columns you don't require, try as much as possible to always take them out. A particular example is this customer key. It's not going to be used in any analysis, so I would like to remove it. Likewise, this geographic key, and even this customer alternate key. I don't need all that. But really, my interest on this data set is on, let me look at that field. Where is that? Just a minute. Okay, yeah, the total children. So this field gives us an idea of how many children these customers have. So let me load all. So we can see from the data that the range of children of our customers ranges from 0 to 5. So we can decide to come up with say a family size grouping, or whichever way you want to call it. A conditional column would be created. I'll come to add column. I'll click on conditional columns. So I'll give it the name, the column name. Let me say family size. Now, I now have to give it the conditions. So I'm saying if my column name total children. Okay, so basically what I want to do, we have 0 to 5. Okay, let's do it this way. If it's less than or equals to 1, we'll call that a small family. Then we'll add another conditions case. If total children, so now I want to say if it's between 2 and 3, that should be a medium family. So you just look at the options you have here, which one suits the logic you are trying to implement. Okay, so if I say it's less than or equals to 3, will that work for me? Let me see. For this medium family, then I'll say else should be a large family. And say okay. Okay, so it has created the column and implemented that logic to give me the appropriate description of the family size for each customer. So let's just look at it. Where is the field? Number of children, the first record, it has a 2. Calls it what? A medium family, because we said 2 to 3 should be medium. Then the fourth one is a small family. I expect that to be 0 or 1. Let's see. It's a 0. So our logic was right. It worked very well. Okay, so at this junction, I think you can play with this data set. Data set will be shared on the group chat. You have access to it. You can come up with interesting analytics around the various fields we have here. There's thousands of transformations you can always do with the data. So let me now show us what we call the advanced query editor. There are 2 ways to open it. Either you get it from home and you click on advanced editor, it comes up, or you go to the view tab and you click on the advanced editor. So it brings it up. And the interesting thing is this: all our processes, all the steps we've been creating, like I said, Power Query, it auto generates the M code for you and saves it in this advanced editor. So you can actually reuse this code even in Excel. So let me just say I want to take out this data. You can copy this and I go to my Excel. Open a new file, come to data, I'm using Excel 2019. I have is at data, then get data. For Excel Office 365, 2016, and the likes, I think it is called Get and Transform. So you click on Get Data, you come to Other Sources, then we click on Blank Query. So this loads my Power Query editor in Excel for me. So you can see we have a very similar interface like we have in Power BI. We are interested in the advanced editor. We are removing all these placeholders and pasting what I copied from Power BI. Say done. So it tries to evaluate the process from source to the end. So here's the data. So all what we did in Power BI has been replicated in Excel here. You discover that the 2 columns will be removed at this point. Customer key, geographic key, all those keys, they're removed. We don't have them anymore. And the conditional column created, we have it here. So it's just very straightforward. So now I would like to take us back to Power BI, since that is where we are really focused on. We cancel this. Then I go to home. There's this data set on the web I would like us to connect to. Okay. So my URL, let me get it. Copy this. Paste it. Okay. Let me show us what the URL looks like. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the data set, the table I want to load into Power BI, this summary table. So I'm loading this into Power BI, doing some basic transformation, reshaping the table. We'll be doing things around grouping, pivoting, transpose, and the likes. Okay, so let's go back to Power BI. Yeah, so let's try to pick the right table. Yes, this is what we are looking for. So I click on OK. So we are good to go. Can begin to do our transformations. So the idea is what we want to achieve is this. We want to, at the end of the day, have just 3 columns. One will give us the dates, one is giving us the currency, and the third one will give us the exchange rates. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I would do is, if I look at this data, actually the data I really need is beginning from rows 4 down to row 10. But I also need my row 1, the dates. So what I will do is I will promote headers, make my first row as header. So I can use this button here, use first row as header. Okay, so that does it for me. Now I can decide to remove these 2 rows because I don't need them for anything. So I would say remove columns. No, sorry, remove rows, remove top rows. Now I'm removing just the first 2. Okay. Okay, yeah, looking nice now. So at this junction, what do I think I need to do next? Okay, now I think I have to bring down my headers because I need them before I do my transpose. Let me demote the headers. Here we have the option to promote and demote. So using headers as first row, this is the one that is to demote. So let me do that. So it brings my headers down into the table as records. Okay, so at this junction, I think I can transpose and see what I have. So my dates rows, the rows at the top will become columns on my left. So I'll come to transform, and transpose. Awesome, awesome. So this is what I want. This is making sense. So at this junction, I need to promote my headers again, so my currencies can go up. Interesting. But I notice this column is blank. It doesn't have a name, so I have to give it a name. Dates. Then I now have to unpivot the remaining columns, so I can have the currencies and the exchange rate by the side. So how do I do that? I select on the first column and right click, and I say on pivot other columns. Interesting. But mind you, it's giving me some column names in values which I don't want. So I need to delete that step and take out that row, that column I mean. So how do I do that? I just select on this column, right click on it and remove. And I do my transpose again. And pivot other columns. Yeah, so we have it. So this is basically what I want to achieve. I have my date on one field, I have the currency in one row, in one column, and I have the exchange rates on the final column. So let me rename my headers, my columns. I'll call this currency. I'll call this exchange rates. Okay. So now we have been able to bring in this data. Let me now mention this. When you are working with tables, it's always advisable that you look out for the data types in Power BI. It's very key, very, very key. Here we had the data coming. They were all text, 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 text. Okay, but at this point it was changed. Power BI changed it. So now let's go to our advanced editor and have a view of what really happened. Yeah, we have some plenty codes here, but never mind. Let me just scroll down. So at this point of change type 1, we can see that it promoted the rows and changed the types of all the fields to text. So I can decide to change a particular one to dates. Okay, let's see what happens. Change it to dates. Say done. See. So it gives me an error on that particular field. And the reason is this: I have strings, lateral strings in the content. So Power BI is quite intelligent. It tries to see the different types of the data types it sees in a particular column before it assigns a data type to the column. So for the fact that I saw selected exchange rates as a data in the column, that was why I assigned it as text. But if they were all whole numbers, it will give it whole number. If they were all dates, it will give it dates. It's very intelligent, very intelligent. So let me go back to my advanced editor and correct that. Change type 1, yeah, dates. So I'll return this back to text. I'll say done. Yeah, so let me look at the next level. Everything is fine here. Okay. So basically, we've been able to bring in data from 3 different sources. We've been able to prepare our data model for loading into Power BI, whereby we can now start talking about coming up with calculated tables, calculated columns, measures, and the likes. Now, something I would like to chip in is the data source setting. This is very critical. When you click on the data source setting on the Home tab, it pops up the data source setting window. This shows you the different data sources you are connecting to at the moment. And at this point, you can change connection paths, you can modify connection string and the likes. So let me just paint a scenario now. Let me go back to my file explorer. This is the file we are referencing that we have loaded into Power BI. What happens when your source data location changes? How do you effect the change in Power BI? So suppose this data that usually comes into this folder, now suddenly it doesn't come into this folder again. It gets deleted from here. Okay, the file is open. Just a minute. Close all this. Discard. Don't save. Yeah, so suppose this file was deleted. Let's go to Power BI and see what happens. Let me close this. This is product. Let me refresh my products. Oh, it gives me an error message. It says data source error, could not find the file, blah, blah, blah. So what it's saying is that it can't connect to the source data to even give me a sample of what the data contains or what the data looks like. So when a query in Power BI has issue, you will always see the flag on the icon here. Instead of the regular table shape, you will see an exclamation in the triangle telling you that there's an issue with that query. It might not be data source issue. It could be a transformation you were doing and something got missing along the line. But so far, the query is not fully ready for use. It will throw this flag. Then it will let you know that, oh, that query has issues. In fact, when you try to load apply changes, it will not, it will throw you back to Power Query that you have to correct something. So how do we fix this issue now? 2 ways. You can either come to source. Like I said earlier, just over on the step you want to modify, select it, then click on this view, expand it. So we'll have this part now, and then say browse, and point Power BI to the new folder where we have our data. So I want to point it to this. If I do that, it fixes it, I have my data. But what happens is if when you, in a case whereby you have, say, 20 queries referencing the same, maybe the same folder or the same file in the same location, it doesn't make sense having to do it one by one like this. So how is the best approach? That's why I was trying to talk about the data source settings here. So what we can do, okay, let me delete this one I just created. No, let me undo what I did. I think that's better. So, yeah, so we have just 3 data sources. So it now happens that this one was deleted. The best approach is to come to data source and right click on the particular source we are interested in and say change source. Click on browse Then navigate to the new folder. Say OK. So allow it some seconds and let it pick. Then you can just refresh. Home, refresh, and it connects. So that's about that. What else do I want to chip in at this point?
Okay, can you just show us some other columns like index under add column?
Okay.
Under add column, can you just briefly demonstrate to us column from example, column, I saw something index column there. At least just let us see what those ones can offer us.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. So I'll start with the index column. So what this one actually does is it just gives your records a system generated number. So either of two options, either you begin from the 0 to infinity, or you start from 1 to infinity, or you do a custom indexing. So you click insert. So if I want to do a custom index such that it starts from 1 and increments by 2, I will say 1 and increment by 2. So I want to see my index for my records like 1, 3, 5, 7. Basically odd numbers. So that's what we have here. So this indexing is actually for you to use to probably create like relationships between your queries whereby you don't have primary key and foreign key relationships. You could now use this as unique identifiers for your records. For the columns from examples, okay, let's do that. Insert. Yeah, this insert step keeps popping up. Reason being that I'm actually trying to insert a new step in the middle of some steps that have been done. So if I do cancel and I come to the last step and now say columns from example, it doesn't prompt me again because it's the last step. It's waiting for a new step. But when in a situation when I'm bringing in a new step in between multiple steps, it will throw that exception warning to just make me be aware that, oh, you're trying to do something. Are you sure this is what you want to do? It's just trying to confirm that I actually want to put that step there. So how does add column from examples work? Quite easy. What this requires from you is just enter a sample record in any column into this new column that is creating, and it will replicate that column for you. So if I want to bring in product ID column, it's just for me to just type at least one product ID. So if I pick ENX 2000, you can see it's referencing the product ID table. So I bring this in and I say enter, it replicates the entire column for me.
If I just want only the 2000.
If you want just the 2000, after 2000? You have done, if you want just the 2000, it's possible. Okay, let's see.
Oh, okay.
So you just come, you won't be using the columns from example, you will now use the extract from text. So you hover on the column and say extract from text. Now we have to study our data.
No, let's try the column by example. Let's see the impact.
Okay. From example. So if I type in 2000, it will still reference the entire column.
2000, enter, just press enter.
Okay.
Wow.
So it brings the text after it brings the numbers after the text.
After the text. In fact, it even detected what you are trying to do and brought out the formula. Wow, this is superb. Okay. Thank you very much. I saw 100%. Okay, click on OK so that you can see what's. I need you to help me explain that area. I saw this part valid 100%, error 0%, empty. So how did this get to your own screen?
Yeah, actually, those are those menus that help you see what you're actually analyzing the data. You can activate that menu in the view. When you come to view, two things you actually need to enable: formula bar and the column quality. Yeah. So the valid, error, and the empty are coming from the column quality. So they just try to give you a brief summary of how each column is doing. You can easily know that, okay, this column has more empty rows, it has some errors, it has valid rows. So from our data here, we can see the majority of our rows are okay. They all have 100% validity, no errors, and no empties. There's always good practice that when you come to Power Query, you enable your formula bar so you can easily see the transformation that M is doing. So we can see that he used text after delimiter to split the ID column, the product ID, to give us just the text after the values. Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Okay.
So
So
thank you
column
very
quality
much.
is just what you need to enable for you to have that on your screen.
Okay. So, Mr. Ayobami Adeleke, you've done justice to this, but there is a question that just came up now. The question is, this sales 2015, 2016, 2017, that if you appended everything into sales, if somebody should release sales 2018, can it be automatically appended to the sales with this arrangement you've done using append?
Well, it won't be automatically appended. Reason being because the data is not in a folder. It comes as sheets in an Excel file. So there is also that, but because of our time, you load in your Excel sheets into Power BI and do it such that every sheet that is in the data, it appends it, but they must be of the same structure. And it happens that this data set is not really, okay, I've closed it. Not all of these sheets have the same structure. So for this particular data we are working with, it will not automatically refresh.
So thank you very, very much. So I give it to you. This is a wonderful, wonderful presentation. So Mr. Ayobami, we sincerely appreciate your time and we thank you for the way you've imparted us. So thank you, colleagues. We appreciate you all for this wonderful moment. So Mr. Ayobami, receive my hug.
Well received.
So thank you. Thank you very much. So
it's a pleasure, sir. Thank you, everybody.